Leading the Nightline tonight, Malaysia is expected to face rising inflationary pressure following disruptions to the global energy supply chain caused by the war in West Asia. Economy Minister Akmal Nasrullah Muhammad Nasir says disruptions to global oil and gas supplies could trigger a domino effect, increasing production costs, logistic expenses and the prices of goods in the market.
He explains that the impact is expected, even though Malaysia managed to keep inflation low at around 1.4% throughout last year.
Kesan kepada inflasi, walaupun tahun lepas kita resilient, kita berjaya kekang inflasi itu pada sekitar 1.4% untuk keseluruhan tahun 2025, tapi kita jangkakan untuk bulan yang berikut dan seterusnya ni akan ada kesan inflasi berdasarkan kepada gangguan rantaian bekalan akibat kos input dan output minyak itu meningkat.
Akmal adds that the government has already taken several measures to provide assurance, including ensuring that oil supplies remain sufficient. Earlier, media reports indicated that the country's inflation rate could rise to as high as 3% if global oil prices continue climbing and reach $150, equivalent to 595 ringgit per barrel. He also says that continued attacks and military operations could significantly affect major global shipping routes, such as the Strait of Hormuz. At the same time, Akmal says Malaysia is stepping up efforts to transition to renewable energy in order to reduce its dependence on fossil fuels following the war in West Asia, which has disrupted global supply chains. The country's renewable energy usage, he adds, currently accounts for about 25% of Malaysia's installed energy capacity.
Kelebihan tenaga boleh baharu ini adalah memang dia tidak akan habis. Maksudnya secara logiknya kalau penggunaan solar itu selagi ada sinaran itu kita terus dapat menjana maupun dengan RE yang lain. Tapi pada masa yang sama TBB, tenaga boleh baharu ni kelebihan dia yang kedua bersifat domestik. Maksudnya ianya tidak bergantung dari segi mengimport bahan bakar ataupun dia tidak terganggu dari sudut rantaian bekalan tenaga secara keseluruhan.
He says the transition to renewable energy sources such as solar and hydropower is being carried out through the National Energy Transition Roadmap, NETR, which targets net zero carbon emissions by 2050.
Several matters related to MA63 have yet to be finalised and will continue to be discussed to reach a mutual resolution. Deputy Minister in the Sarawak Premier's Department of Law, MA63 and State-Federal Relations, Dato' Sharifah Hasidah Said Aman Ghazali said, among the issues still being discussed is a special grant formula under Article 112D of the Federal Constitution.
Commenting on Prime Minister Dato' Sri Anwar Ibrahim's recent visit to Sarawak, Hasidah explains that the visit generally focused on state development and engagement with the local community. However, she stresses that discussions related to MA63 are ongoing through the relevant committees in order to find the best possible solution. Both the state and federal government are continuing efforts to reach a consensus so that unresolved matters can be finalised.
Memang di dalam MA63 ini ada beberapa perkara yang belum diselesaikan dan akan terus kita cuba cari penyelesaian seberapa segera. Memang sekarang ini komiti-komiti yang terlibat semua sedang cuba berusaha membincangkan lagi lah dan untuk mencapai kata sepakat agar apa yang belum selesai dapat diselesaikan, perkara-perkara yang belum selesai. Contohnya perkara formula di bawah artikel 112D ya, grant khas ini belum lagi diselesaikan dan perkara ini akan terus dibincangkan dan saya yakin ya kita akan dapat mencapai penyelesaian lah dan kata sepakat. Apa yang penting adalah kata sepakat di mana kita akan dapat situasi di mana kita win-win. semua pihak happy lah saya rasa. Ini yang terbaik lah.
In another development, Hasidah says the Cahaya Prihatin Saberkas Samariang 2026 program was organized to assist those in need while also empowering youth participation in community activities. The program involved 50 children who were brought shopping for clothes and Hari Raya essentials.
The conflict in the Middle East continues to escalate, with missile and drone attacks reported across the region and growing concerns about security and stability. Several countries are activating air defenses, while diplomatic and economic fallout is spreading beyond the immediate conflict zone. Here are the latest developments. Iran's Revolutionary Guards have vowed to pursue and kill Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. According to the Guards' Sabah news website, the threat comes as Iran continues missile attacks against Israel amid the widening regional conflict. Iran has launched a new wave of missiles towards Israel, according to Iranian state television. The attack is part of a series of escalating strikes between the two sides. Jordan's military says it intercepted 79 out of 85 missiles and drones launched by Iran towards the kingdom. Authorities say air defenses were activated to protect civilian areas and strategic sites. Meanwhile, loud explosions were heard over Bahrain's capital, Manama, early Sunday. Authorities say the kingdom has intercepted 125 missiles and 203 drones since Iran's attacks began, which have killed 2 people in Bahrain and 24 others in neighboring Gulf states. Iran's Revolutionary Guards say they launched a salvo of missiles toward U.S. forces stationed at a major base in Al-Khaj, Saudi Arabia. Saudi defense officials say several ballistic missiles were intercepted before reaching their target. In Iraq, a drone attack targeted the Baghdad airport complex, which houses a military base and a U.S. diplomatic facility. Security sources say the drones were shot down just outside the compound, though one crash caused a large fire in the area. 2 drones targeted an airbase in Kuwait, housing U.S. military personnel. Kuwait's defense ministry says the attack injured local personnel and caused damage at the facility. Meanwhile, in Lebanon, a delegation is being formed to negotiate with Israel in an effort to stop the war with Iran-backed Hezbollah. Officials say preparations are underway, though the timing and location of any talks have not yet been decided. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged countries including China, France, Japan, South Korea and Britain to send warships to help secure the Strait of Hormuz. The strait is a critical choke point for global oil supplies. Trump said countries that rely on oil from the route should help protect it, adding that the United States would help a lot. Iran says it would target facilities belonging to U.S. companies in the region if its own energy infrastructure is attacked. The warning comes after strikes on military infrastructure at Iran's Khark Island crude oil export hub. Turkey's Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan says Iran is denying responsibility for firing ballistic missiles towards Turkey. He said technical data indicates the missiles originated from Iran territory. Turkey says it fears Israel may be moving toward a new genocide in Lebanon under the pretext of fighting Hezbollah. The warning was also made by Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan as Israel continues its military operations in the country. South Korea has evacuated 204 of its citizens and 7 other nationals from the Middle East using a military aircraft. The Foreign Ministry described the alert as an unprecedented evacuation operation. Lebanon's Health Ministry says Israeli strikes have killed 826 people since the start of the latest conflict with Hezbollah. More than 2,000 others have been wounded. Among many things that are discussed regarding the escalating war in the Middle East are whether the commanders of both Iran and Israel are dead injured or alive. Various media are reporting that Benjamin Netanyahu has been killed in recent Iranian strikes. During the initial days of the war, Netanyahu was actively speaking on the current ongoings, but disappeared suddenly with only written statements published by Israeli government. Then recently, he held a press conference that sparked a huge criticism of alleged deepfake, when several parts of the video showed him having 6 fingers. Though Israeli authorities state that distortions could occur and that the extra finger may be the result of shadows due to the lighting placement, the use of AI production in the particular video is glaring to say the least, as generative AI have historically struggled to render human hands accurately. This led to many speculating that Netanyahu is currently in hiding, gravely injured, or has been killed by recent Iranian strikes in central Israel. Whatever the case may be, if Netanyahu is alive, the Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps IRGC on Sunday vows to pursue and assassinate Netanyahu.
Meanwhile, on the opposing side, Western media claims that Mojtaba Khamenei is gravely injured, riding on narratives that the supreme leader of Iran has not appeared publicly for any of his address, especially since he took the helm as the regime's new head. Rumors started when U.S. President Donald Trump questions whether if he is alive and implied that he may have survived the U.S.-Israel attack on February 28th, but suffered serious injuries. However, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi says there is no problem with the country's leader, saying that Mojtaba is in good health and continues to fully manage the country.
And now on to Sarawak development. Although Sarawak Hunnam Siangtseng was established by the Chinese community, the association remains committed to channeling assistance regardless of race or religion, focusing instead on those who need help most. As such, Sarawak Premier Datuk Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunapeng praised the association's efforts, noting that such a practice is rarely seen elsewhere, further highlighting the uniqueness of Sarawak. The association has served the community with compassion and dedication for 70 years, since its establishment on December 16, 1956.
Sarawak Minister for Women, Childhood and Community Wellbeing Development, Datuk Sri Fatimah Abdullah, says this while representing the Premier of Sarawak at the Hari Raya Aid presentation ceremony for underprivileged groups at Sarawak Hunnam Siangtseng on Sunday.
Over the decades, the Centre has played a meaningful and significant role in supporting the well-being of many in our society, particularly the elderly. Ia telah memberi khidmat, berbagai-bagai khidmat, termasuklah kepada warga emas, the underprivileged yang kurang bernasib baik, and those who require care and assistance, yang memerlukan bantuan. In addition to managing home for the aged and providing around 100 funeral services.
She emphasizes that this ongoing support helps ease the financial burden of many low-income families and ensures that families in need continue to have access to basic necessities. Clearly, beyond material assistance, efforts like these bring relief, preserve dignity, and provide confidence to those facing various life challenges. This initiative also reflects a spirit of mutual respect and compassion that transcends cultural and religious boundaries. At the event, 112 Muslim families received angpaos and essential items including beef, chicken, eggs, cooking oil, biscuits, potatoes, and various dried goods.
And those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Charlotte Shmatua. Thank you for watching and have a good night.